This is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I just wanted to share with you today a new project that I've started. If you have watched my channel recently, then you know I am starting an album for my husband of his growing up years. And so there was another video all about how to sort and get ready for a big project like this. So if you didn't check that out already, I would encourage you to do that. I'm going to be using a collection that is from a couple of years ago. It's called Genuine, and it's really kind of speaks to more masculine tones, and so will be most appropriate for this for the layouts that I'm going to be doing in this album. But for the time being, let me just explain that we're going to be using a project recipe, and project recipes can be used using any collection or any papers that you have, you can use. Our collections are designed to all go together, so as long as you're using the same collection on the same layout, you should have the same color combinations, the same, and everything should match. So kind of no thought is needed or stress about trying to make sure that everything goes together, because it already does. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of collect some of these cute little sayings. We've got our laser cut embellishments, which come out with often come out with our collections, and if they don't, then you can find titles such as these or similar ones that we have laser title packs that you can buy. So if you don't have this collection, never fear. There are ways to get around just about anything in scrapbooking. You can kind of make it up as you go along. So as I said, the Genuine paper pack has a lot more masculine hues to it. You can see it's got a lot of blues and greens and wood grain and kind of a more masculine tones. So today we're going to need 3 designer sheets of paper. That just means that the paper needs to be double-sided. So whatever you are going to choose to use, make sure you like both sides, because you're going to be using both sides. All right, so I've chosen to use these 3 sheets. These 2 are from the Genuine packet, and this one is from another packet that I had of some denim papers that I just liked. I thought it worked well. These are the backs. I'm not super crazy about this one, but we're going to work around that, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started. So we're going to take our first sheet of paper. And first of all, let me show you what I'm working off of. This is what we call a project recipe. It's a sketch, and the sketch is color coded so that you can go by your cutting guide and know exactly where each piece is going to go. They are labeled by color. They're also labeled by letters. And then there are also measurements on the cutting guide to let you know what size to cut each piece. And there's instructions down here at the bottom for step-by-step following along. Page 2 includes the actual cutting guides. So on this piece of designer paper, we're going to cut these sizes of pieces, excuse me. And we're also going to use our border maker system, and we're going to punch some borders. This piece of designer paper is going to be cut this way. This piece is going to be cut this way. Some pieces are going to be reversed, and you'll notice they say reverse if they need to be turned over to make the design that is here. But of course, you can customize that however you would like. So first of all, we're going to jump over here, and we're going to cut this piece, and we're going to use the border maker system to do that. I'm going to use my Timeless Tweed border maker cartridge. So if you have that in your collection somewhere, ooh, that's not focusing very good. This is the one I'm going to use, but really any kind of a masculine type of design would work as long as it's a chain border maker cartridge, meaning that it separates from the page. That would be fine. I'm going to go ahead and do like this. I'm going to, so this paper is directional on this side, but not so much on this side. So I think I'm going to cut it long ways this direction. I want to pay attention to that when you're about to get started cutting. Sometimes it makes a difference. Not always, but sometimes. So we're just going to cut 2 borders out of this real quick. There's one. Set my paper. Put that up, move my paper to the edge of the guide. To the shoulder there, flip this down, the magnet will hold it in place. Flip the guide arm back underneath, and we are good to go. All right. Done with that. Let me just stow that away, out of the way for a second. Now you're going to need your 12-inch trimmer. And we're going to cut a piece that's 3 1/4 inches. So 3 1/4. And then we're going to turn it horizontally, and we're going to make 3 3 1/4 squares. 1, lining it up here at the top with the 3 1/4 measure that goes all right along the top. 2, 3 1/4. 3 at 3 1/4. This is extra, so we'll set that aside. We're going to take our big piece back again. This should be 6 1/2, just to be sure that we are left with 6 1/2. I'm going to just quickly measure it here. So it looks like we're just off by just a little, not too much, just a tiny bit. I'm going to go ahead and just trim that little edge just to make it uniform. Okay, so then we want 6 1/2 by 4 1/2, and we want 2 of those. So we're going to turn it horizontally. We already have our 6 1/2 measurement. Now we're going to do 2 at the 4 1/2 mark up here. So there's 1. Here's 2. And this piece is extra. Now we're going to grab the green piece of paper that we had up there, and we're going to need that arm again. No reason to put it away while I'm doing this. Probably need it more. So we're going to make our first cut at 9 inches. So the edge of the paper right here at the 9 mark up here at the top. So 9 inches. Then we're going to turn this. We're going to cut it again at 7 1/2. So this edge of the paper at 7 1/2. All right. So then the remaining sheet should be 4 1/2 inches, and it is. Great. Okay, then we're going to take our extra sheet. This one is 3 inches wide. You can double check that. Yep, 3 inches. And we need it to be 9 inches long. So we're going to, again, put the edge of it out here at the 9-inch mark. There we go. Put it right up against the bumper. And we're going to cut that square and set that square aside. we need that long piece. All right, now we're going to take our denim sheet. This one's going to be cut. Actually, I don't need my arm anymore, so I'm going to just tuck that back inside my trimmer. Okay, so we're going to cut this one at 4.5. So 4.5 up here at the top. You put the edge flush to the top up here. You can check it to make it sure it's straight by using the guide, the grid guidelines that are on your trimmer. I will let you know if you have it maybe a little off. Okay, then we're going to turn this. We're going to cut a square. So 4.5 inches again. And another one at 4.5 inches. And then the remaining one should be 3 inches. And do this. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to take our bigger sheet and put that back in long ways. We're also going to measure this one at 2.5 by 12. So 2.5. Just make sure your edge of your paper is at 2.5 all the way down. And this edge up here is against the bumper and you'll be good. 2.5 by 12. And then we need a 4-inch by 12. So we're going to trim just a little off. All right. And this is extra. Okay. Now this particular design is built on cardstock unless you want to build it right onto a page. I'm going to go ahead and use some navy blue cardstock. Normally I would avoid using cardstock, and I've said that before, so let me just say it again. If you know you're going to have a large album with lots of photos, then you want to avoid wallpapering with cardstock as much as you can, because it will make your album super, super thick and very heavy in the long run, and you don't want that. So I'm just going to scoot a couple of my pieces up here and move my pieces that are extra over here so I don't mistake them. These are, okay. Now we're going to just sort of lay this out so that we can kind of see where the design goes. I'm going to change back to my first page. All right, so let's move some of these out of the way, which is what I was going to do. And then even said I was going to do that and I didn't do it. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have our base papers, these navy blue pieces of cardstock. We're going to use our green and we're going to center that on the left side of the right page. So it's going to go there approximately. And then we're going to take another page, another paper of the green, and I'm going to center it on the left page. Now we want these to all be lined up. So I'm going to put these two pages together so that I can adhere them and have them be right next to each other. Okay. The design that I'm following says that we're going to flip this paper over for one of these pieces, but I'm not super fond, as I said before, of this, the back of this paper. So I think I'm just going to leave it all green. And you know what? When you're the one putting it together, you can do that. Okay. Flip it however you like. Okay, so I'm just trying to center this so that I have an even amount of blue at the top and an even amount of green or blue at the bottom. Okay, so that's as centered as I can make it. Now I'm going to go ahead and just adhere this one down. Notice that I'm only putting a little bit, like a ½ inch to an inch of adhesive in several different places along the edge. You do not need to start at one corner and go all the way to the other corner. That would be a horrible waste of adhesive. And this adhesive is wonderful adhesive. You do not want to have to spend a lot extra unnecessarily. So no need to do that. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and adhere this one with the green side down as well. I'm gonna put one right along that edge too. And I'm going to put these right up against each other. There will be mats over top, so you won't hardly even notice that there's a seam there. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to take we have an edge here that needs to go down that side, and an edge here that needs to go down this side. So we'll go ahead and put the smaller one goes on your left side of your layout, and the wider one goes down the right hand side of your layout. This is the denim sheet. And these are your 12 by 3 and 12 by, I think it was 4.5. No, just 4 inches. All right. Easy to see where the adhesive is on these darker colors. Fortunately, we're turning her over. Okay, here we go. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our punched pieces, and we need to cut those at 9 inches, which I failed to do right off. So let's just grab our trimmer again. And I'm gonna put both of these on top of each other because they should be exactly the same. And put the edge right on out to the 9-inch mark and the flat of the punch right up against the bumper. Let's see, you know what? Maybe. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna play with this one a little bit, and here's why. Since I'm cutting this off, I want there to be as solid a piece as I can at the end, because when you end it with a teeny little piece like this, you're more likely to end up with something sticking up, and you don't want it to be sticking up. So I'm just going to avoid that. And you can do this with any of the punches that you're trying to adhere. If they have tiny little pieces at the very end, just go ahead and trim them off. Little ones. Get rid of those. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and add these. We're going to flip one of them over. And they've got them. Let's see. Maybe we want it going this way. It can be somewhat mirror images that way. I kind of like that better. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get my repositionable adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. So each of the ends, I'm going to put some right across the end. And then I'm just going to kind of go diagonal over a couple of spots in the middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and line this up on the very edge of the green with the bottom and the very outer edge of the green in the center of my page. There we go. Okay, we're going to put some adhesive on this one. We're going to line this guy up at the bottom and with the edge of the other punch. And I would just kind of adhere it a little bit at a time all the way up so you can make sure that those pieces meet where you want them to meet. And you have a smooth pattern all the way up. All right, super. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get some of our stickers out. So border stickers can be used a lot of different ways. But in the project recipes, we like to use them as kind of an accent on for other papers. So you can build a border with these and layer them and do all kinds of fun things with them. This one we're going to actually place right down the center. The circular pattern is going to go right down the center, right down the seam where you put those two punch pattern or punch pieces together. And then you're going to get your scissors and just trim it off at the bottom. Okay, there we go. Sorry if I was in the way. Okay, then we're going to take another one of our stickers, this green leafy one. And this green leafy one, and let's see. I think we're going to use this brown. Okay, so the brown one's actually going to go down first because the green leafy pattern has a little bit of a, let me get that out of the way so you can see. Come on, stay there. So we're going to put this down right at the edge of our blue denim and our navy so that that's nice and straight. You can just use the edge of your paper as a guide to keep that nice and straight the whole way up your page. Just like that. Doesn't that look cool? So super easy. And we're also going to use the other, move that out of the way. This other brown one is going to go on this side and going to go right along the edge of this, but instead of the outer edge of the denim and the navy right along the seam, we're going to put it actually on the denim side so that we can still see this navy strip right in here. So we're going to go ahead and put it on top of the denim, but still right along that edge. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to take this leaf sticker that I was telling you about before, and we're going to put this right along the inside seam of the brown checkered sticker. So if you are using a different collection, and you likely are, because this, like I said, this is an older collection, just look for some border stickers that kind of complement each other. When you're dealing with a collection, like I've said before, all the colors match. So just choose a couple that might be nice overlapping with their patterns and things like that, and use that. I'm sure it'll be lovely. All right, now we're going to go ahead and mount our mats. And I'm going to put one mat vertically here, another mat vertically here. It's going to go right in the center there. We're going to use the square denim mat underneath here, the other square denim mat up here, right? This is not going to work quite like we had hoped because it's so dark. I could use a white gel pen, which Creative Memories does not have, but we all know they exist. Or we do have a chalk pen that you could use to write and use this as a journal box. However, since it matches that outer pattern, this page would, or this side would be better, but with the stripes, I don't really like it. So I could use this piece, this side of this piece, and use that as a journal box for the side. I may do that. I'm going to think about that for a minute. In the meantime, we have these three also that need to go down. And these three mats are going to go over here on this side. And I'm going to go ahead and put that guy just like that. And he'll pick up some of the same types of waves that are in these other accents. Really subtle though, which is okay. The other thing I could do is use this green as a journal box. Or what's on the back of my plaid? No, that's, I think, too much. Too much. So maybe I could use that green. That actually would probably be really nice against the blue. Use that as my journal box over here to this side. All right, let's get these put down. I'm gonna just use my repositionable adhesive and just put a little in the middle, like you've seen me do before. And that is to hold this mat in place so I don't lose it while I'm waiting for the photo, because I haven't decided what photos are going on this page yet. So until I do, that way I won't lose it. Okay, we're just gonna put that mat right on there. I'm gonna temporarily put these on the rest of these as well. And I want this to match, so let me realign my page here. So that is level. Maybe a little higher. There we go. Sometimes it's hard to see. All right, there's that one. And there's this one. You'll notice, remember how I said that you wouldn't be able to see the seam? Do you remember the seam that we had? It's right there, but you can't hardly see it. Thankfully. And these we're just going to center. They're going to be about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge of where the other mat is located. And we're going to center it between this border and the edge of this mat. So centered between this edge and this edge. And about 1/4 of an inch down from the top. This one just gets centered between the two, the top and the bottom. So you can make sure there's an even space between those two. All right. Now we're going to need to go ahead and put our journal box down. And I'm going to go ahead and just permanently put this down. Just right on the edge here. And I'm going to jump over here and grab my stickers to make a couple of clusters real quick. So let's use this. And maybe the dark blue, just to pull a little bit of the dark blue out again. I'm just going to slightly overlap them so they stick together. Just 2 little flags. Then I'm going to use this circle that says one of a kind. I need to get some of that sticky off. It's really sticky. And I need my foam squares so that I can pop this up. So there's a foam square. And a foam square. There we go. And that's going to go right there. Maybe we'll add this little stripedy star on there too. Grab a tiny foam square from under here. Stick that teeny little foam square right in the middle. We'll put him right there. All right, and this guy's gonna go right here. Okay, and we're gonna do one more. That's gonna go right here underneath our let's see, it's the little things that make life big. It's a cute one. Again, just sticking that to my pants to give it a little bit of fuzz so that it's not quite so sticky, because wow, these things can be really sticky sometimes. And we're gonna stick a couple of foam squares around the corners and then one in the center, just because if we don't, the center could get stuck down to your page and you don't really want that. So that's going to go right under there. And in addition to that, let's see. Maybe. Maybe we'll just use this brown sticker too. And maybe we'll use I'm sorry. Sometimes my creativity is stifled sometimes. All right, so I'm going to use this dot that also has stripes on it because we've got stripes on our star over there. And again, I'm going to just add a small foam square to this. Not going to foam square the banner, just a circle that we're going to put in the center. Okay. All right, so let's stick this down. All these protective little tapes off the back. There we go. That's the last one. Okay, I'm going to put this little guy right up to the edge. And we're gonna do this guy underneath it. No. Don't want you there. Having a hard time. My fingers feel so fat sometimes. Okay, let's see. I think right there is going to be good. Over just a smidge. Oh, I can't decide. All right, well, we'll just stick it down. All right. So there we go. I think we're going to go with that for now. And then after I get the photos on, I may embellish it just a little bit more. But for right now, I think that works really well. That goes together super fast. Most project recipes do go together pretty quickly because you have a preconceived idea and you know what size to cut everything. So you cut it all at once and then you just assemble and it goes together really quickly. And you can see with this particular design, we've got room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photos if we want to. You've got room for even more than that if that's what you choose to do. You could put a photo down here, another one up here. You could do one up over here. Depends on how much you want to load up your page, but you've got a lot of options. All right, I hope you enjoyed working through this project recipe with me. And I hope that you'll tune back in the coming days and weeks because we're going to be doing some more of these and helping me get this project moved along. Thanks so much. I hope you have a great day and keep creating.